Can you tell us about availability for Wednesday? Anybody who didn't make it out Saturday who you don't expect on Wednesday?
No, everybody's fully fit. Obviously, Breck's back from suspension. Junior will make the game on Sunday, but won't make this tomorrow night. Other than that, it's as was really.
In terms of Abada and Bender, was your reticence to use them more about their individual injuries, match congestion? The game was kind of chippy too. I mean, there were a lot of factors involved.
No, I mean, Ben Bender's not played a match for 7 months, so it's got to be right for him and for me to get him on the pitch. He's played some minutes in terms of some bounce games that we've had here, and he's played the legacy game as well, but it's not the same intensity, so I've got to be fully behind it before I put him on the pitch and make sure that it's a game where he can actually come in and do what it says on the tin. Liao was more, I knew I was only probably going to give him 15 or 20 minutes following the injury, but Liao came through that okay, and he's trained well, so he's available certainly to be selected from the start now.
In terms of the last couple of games not getting a goal, is that something you talk about openly? Do you not have to say anything to them in terms of that, or how do you approach something like that?
No, we talk openly. We review all the games. And the fact is that we probably haven't worked the goalkeeper enough, so we've spoke about that and what we feel we can do to improve that. So there's open conversations, but we've had chances and we probably haven't done as well as we could do with the chances, so that's something that we will continuously work on.
The cards were heavy earlier in the year in terms of you guys getting yellows, had a couple of suspensions. Ashley just came off with the good behavior, 5 consecutive outs. So, and I think last week was the first time you guys hadn't had a yellow card in a game. Has there been a massive change, or is it just match dependent? Have you guys had the discussion about discipline, that kind of thing?
There's been no discussion at all. I wasn't aware that it was such a high card collection. I would certainly never class ourselves as being a team that is over physical, disrespects the officials, and I think they've been over the top a little bit with some of our cautions, that's for sure.
And New York is a team that this club historically has seen a lot. Open Cup playoffs a year ago. What have you kind of gathered in terms of, number one, how they play, but also just kind of, I know you haven't been here much for it, but just the history between the two teams in the first couple of years?
I have no idea about the history between the two teams. I know the Red Bull model because I've obviously played against many teams before. They have a certain style, the way they want to play. I'm confused, and nobody's really explained to me yet why they're New York but they're playing New Jersey. But maybe somebody can tell me that. But it's going to be a tough game because they're a good team.
They used to be called the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. They had New York and New Jersey in their name both, which was odd. So,
well, isn't it odder now that they're actually playing New Jersey?
It was a New York Cosmos as well. It's a New York thing.
they don't like talking about New Jersey.
There's no room in New York.
Okay,
They consider it a suburb, and that's where the room for the stadiums were.
right. Okay, I was still confused.
It's a PR thing. It's a branding
Okay,
thing.
okay, gotcha.
Steve?
Going back with the scoring and stuff and getting the chances, because the first half this past Saturday weren't getting the chance. Did you attribute that, and you mentioned it a bit in post-game and stuff, when looking back at the film, was it more their defense or
They defended certainly the second 6-yard box really well. We put a number of balls into that area and we had people arriving, but they defended it really well. Nico had the one big chance where he went through 1v1 against the goalkeeper. And sometimes our final ball was lacking. I think 3 minutes on the clock, and Didi's played a great ball out to Kerwin, and Kerwin went 1v1 and unfortunately put the ball over the crossbar, and that's the sort of thing that we need to cut out a little bit, and that's where we've got to produce better moments.
And it's something that Charlotte has done well too, and getting in front of shots. Blocks are kind of underappreciated because sometimes they're really close, you don't see them get through, sometimes they're last second and they're a little more dramatic with that, but that's an integral part of defense, is putting your body on the line to keep shots from
Yeah,
getting
no,
to the keeper.
you've got to go and block shots. Your goalkeeper should be your last resort. So we've done really well at that, and sometimes you have to say well done to the opposition, and they did do well. But we know there's better quality in us as well.
And in the second half, there were some there, and the shots just weren't on frame. And you addressed that as far as, is that, how as a coach, as a trainer, how do you work with that in training? How do you change that? Well,
you just keep practicing. Yeah. Keep practicing, finishing. I always attribute a cross or a finish to a pass. It's a pass it into the back of the net, pass it into areas where people are arriving, and that's what I'm trying to change the mentality to for our players.
And the spirit, 5 straight clean sheets is a great accomplishment in that, and it's what's keeping Charlotte, in the playoffs positions right now, but it's not going to be sustainable. When you're looking down what other teams are doing, most teams are above 20 goals right now, but a lot of those teams are also giving up above 20 goals right now. Is there anything you would prefer, be in the shootout sense where they're winning games 3-2 or losing them 3-2, or keep it as it is, with the defense solid?
I'm always defense solid, and they're no different to us if there's only one goal in it, or they're drawing 3-3 or 4-4. But I know from experience that you can build an awful lot of confidence from keeping clean sheets and not giving opposition chances. And you can go on a run like we're doing at the moment, but we need to maintain our standards to do that. Am I concerned that we're not scoring enough goals? Yeah, and that's something that we need to address, and we are addressing and working on. But the standards of our defending have been excellent, and it's something that shouldn't be overlooked.
What was Patrick's attitude after the match? It was a rough game for him with the double markings and.
Yeah, no, as I said after the game, he's occupying 2 centre-backs at the moment. I think people are getting wary of him within the league. And when he does occupy it, there's going to be space for others. I do feel that, he needs to be protected a little bit more. And you can't just have a perception because of his height that some of them aren't fouls, because there was a number of fouls that weren't given. But I like his attitude, his enthusiasm, and he's getting better.
Yeah, it looked like they were chopping down a tree most of the time because they were hitting them low and just taking them out with that. But his attitude as far as working hard, because he seems to have a great demeanor towards the fact that he's still learning and getting this done with that. So is there optimism there?
Yeah, lots of optimism. I want him to be more aggressive in the opposition box, especially, we had 11 corners, I think it was last week. So I want him with his size and height to be more aggressive in the opposition box, the way he is in ours, because when we defend corners, he's one of the really important members of the group to go and clear it. And I want the same in both boxes from him.
And the last thing as Will was referring to with New York Red Bulls, they try to get under team skins and stuff. They're instigators in a lot of things. Those games have been historically chippy just from the beginning. This stuff, is that something that you address as far as the psychology of a game and taking their blows, giving them a smile, and then getting back to them?
No, not really. Because I think we've got good emotional control within the team, so we don't need to get into any battles with any team. Just concentrate on our own game. They're a high pressing team. That's how they play, and we have to be aware of that and what their pressing triggers are and how to play out of that pressure. And that's something that we've been working on.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cool. Jason, anything?
No, I'm
Okay, cool. Carol, I'm going to give you an opportunity on the Zoom really quickly, and then Willie Pete's going to finish with some in the room. So, Carol, go ahead.
Good morning, Dean. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Carol, yourself?
I'm good. Are we taking your dizzy spell? Is that you getting adjusted to the heat, do you think?
No, I don't think so. No, it may have more to have done with the lights than the heat, to be honest. So I'd certainly took on enough fluids, and it was a couple of minutes spell, and it's gone now. Thank you.
Good. Asking about defense, this back four and the goalkeeper were the same guys last year and gave up the most goals in the league for much of the year. You've got them playing a lot better. I mean, was it just coming in? I know you talked about not taking guys for a walk, playing spaces, communicating. I mean, what was your philosophy right away that you thought, hey, I can take these guys and make them better?
Well, I don't think it's just the back four and the goalkeeper either, though. It's the team structure. If you're in the right places to go and press, and your teammates back you up, then you've got more chance of winning the game. And I think we've got a really good structure, and we have a good movement together. I think when you see the team, shift when the ball moves as a team, I think it's a really important thing to see. It also that means that you're giving away less space, and all opposition will tell you that what you're trying to do is make runs to create space for others, and if we're shifting together, then that space isn't there.
Great. And I know you were billed as a set piece guy, and then you have a game with 11 quarters and not much to show for it. Does that bother you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. We've got to be better. I mean, Andrew Privett's had a really good chance. He's had a free header from the one corner where he'll feel that he should have done better. But I wasn't happy with the quality. I think 5 out of the 11 probably didn't even beat the first man. So, the quality on the ball and into the box has to be better. And a set piece is only as good as the delivery. You need the delivery, but you also need players, getting on the end of it.
And lastly, we saw Leo Labata got engaged yesterday. Does that make you happy to see him making some memories in Charlotte and starting a new life here?
He did, yeah, and we congratulated him yesterday, and he's gone a bit more public than I probably would, but that's the modern footballer now, I think. So we're pleased for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they had flowers and a videographer and all that just for the engagement. So
Yeah, I hope my wife didn't see it. It's my anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, happy. How many years?
That'll be 26.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Cheers.
Cool, thanks, Carol. I see Sam Spencer, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Sam. You?
Can't complain. So I actually want to follow off of Carol's question. Do you think the increased defensive performance has anything to do with the team playing a more simple system this year or a more straightforward system?
I don't know, because I wasn't obviously here last season, but I looked at the squad and what we had, and I felt that we could become defensively strong, more organised, give some more responsibility to the players, and to be fair, they've been really, really good with it. And as I say, it's not just the back five, it's the whole team who've done that.
How's the cam search going? Do you have any updates from Zoran?
No, not at the moment, because we're a long way off that. July the 1st, the window opens, I think, is it? 18th, July the 18th. So we've got a long way until we can bring somebody in.
So specifically going up to Harrison to play the Red Bulls, as somebody who played in the EFL and coached there for a while, is there the same animosity against the Red Bull franchise in Great Britain as there is in some other footballing countries like the United States and Germany? No,
not really, because there's not a Red Bull team within the leagues in England. You've got, is it Leipzig, Austrian? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got Salzburg, Austrian, Leipzig, Germany, and we played against them with Aston Villa during a couple of pre-seasons. So no, there's no animosity at all.
What do you think of the style of football that they're known for, the energy drink or Red Bull football, and how do you combat that with our a defense that's been doing pretty well?
No, they have a style. that suits all their teams, and they recruit for that style as well. It's a real hard-working style, but they play good football as well. So we've got to be wary of it. And Ralph took that style to Southampton in the EPL when he was at Southampton, and so we came across that quite a few times.
And then finally, obviously not going to ask you who's in the 11, but when you get into parts of the season like this where you have a congested schedule, who are the key pieces on the team you're looking to step up and make an impact as you have to be more judicious with other players' minutes?
Well, I think I'm starting to work out that we've got quite a few robust players who can manage it. We've also, I said after the game last week, we're building, our squad's coming together as well in terms of getting our injuries back. Ben Bender, Liel Labada are back in the squad now as well. So it allows me to go and freshen things up if I need to. But I still go back to, when I played, and other players, they want to play every game, and I want them to play every game. And our judgment is whether they're fresh enough to keep playing every game. But it shouldn't surprise people when you see a professional footballer at the end of the season who's played every minute of every game, because that's what they're trained to do.
All right, cheers, Coach, and look at your newsstand on Thursday morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. All right, Caleb.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
I want to ask you about a specific player on the Red Bulls. Elias Manuel, in the last 4 matches between Charlotte FC and the Red Bulls, has scored 6 goals. He's a guy that's had a lot of success against Charlotte particularly. How do you stop a physical kind of forward like that?
Well, he's not had success against me because he's never played against me, so
Okay.
it's a different team now. It's a different moment. What's gone on in the history has gone on in the history. I was told that New York had never beat us before. We're only 2.5 years old, and now they've beat us. So, history's there to be made, and let's hope we get a shutout against him.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
All right, final one. Will, still got one.
Most of the, clean sheets, the first 3 of this run were, again, largely to the keeping things away from Cali. He's been called upon in the last 2 in particular a lot and pretty dynamically. What have you noticed about his game in terms of how it's developed in your tutelage?
I would say he made one key save on Saturday. That was the one from the crossfield ball that got headed back across. Every other save he's made, I've expected him to make. So I see, and I keep saying there's a calmness about him, and that calmness will, get set with the other players as well, and they will feel that calmness as well, and you can see that within the team. I give him a lot of praise because of the way he is. Probably not as much praise as you guys are, because I expect him to make the saves that he's been making. Because one was a header from 8 yards that was straight at him that he tipped over the bar. One was a free kick that we saw coming from a long way. So I expect him to be making a lot of the saves that he's making.